I'm having a disastrous hair day, so just bear with me. Just please, no comments. Like, I'm doing what I can with what I have, where I am. Anyway.
Hi friends, I'm Meliora. Welcome to my channel. Today we're doing another fun summery perfume haul. Summer means what? Summer means some extra sales, some really good finds, and I must say the fragrance by the Canadian one, I don't know if you can see like the name of it here, is becoming my kind of like top favorite perfume site to buy fragrances from. All right, a little bit of coffee and let's get to it. I'm a bit overdue actually reporting to you what I've been doing in my perfume life. So I'm gonna start without further ado with two minis. Let me find the second one while I'm telling you about the brand. This is Elisabeth. Their exclusive line is the one that truly deserves your attention, especially if you consider yourself a connoisseur or a lover of niche, but the kind of like user-friendly niche, you know, not something too experimental or sort of like if you stay away from extremes, but you do want quality a little bit more deep, a little bit more sensual, a little bit more interesting, right? Like compared to like mainstream fragrances. The Elisabeth, their essence line, and here I actually got myself two more. I have a rose full-size bottle, love it. Actually, that's the Gourmand Rose that kind of brought back my interest and love for rose smells. And I got myself two more. I got neroli and vetiver. So, let me put this aside. What's so special about the essence line by Elisabeth? First of all, certainly can't deny the fact that the Elisabeth brand is known for their gourmands. They have their own kind of their own shelf in the gourmand store of mainstream fragrances, and what they really do well is powdery, sweet, sensual, almost like parfait, dessert-like fragrances. Francis Kurkdjian, who is the king of powerful, sensual, and sweet fragrances, though he has pretty wide palette right now with his own brand and other brands he collaborates with, it's almost like the man is almost too prolific for his own good, because you no longer can describe his style at this point. I don't even know how much he's involved in his perfume creations, because it seems that there are like dozens coming out every year. But one thing that is a very signature, recognizable kind of old style of his, what really made him famous, is really well represented in the Elisabeth essence line. So once I tried their rose perfume, which was a very well-mannered kind of rose souffle, I realized that in contrast to the mainstream line of Elisabeth, their essence line, the more kind of like luxury supreme line, is a little bit more delicate, a little bit more elegant, but it still has this signature kind of sweet gourmand notes in it. And this is something that for me personally I'm very challenged when it comes to appreciation of mainstream gourmands. So that was the kind of Elisabeth gourmands that I realized I actually loved to wear myself. So rose is already in my collection. Then I tried gardenia. That's a very lactone, milky type of gardenia, and that was a bit much for me. I do prefer gardenias that are a little bit more green, a little bit more powdery or even sharp. And some of you, I think, already noted that I should try Chanel gardenia, and I got a decant. We'll talk about it at some point later. My gardenia fragrances. So it's also good, but just like if you're looking for really sweet, milky gardenia, Elisabeth Essence Gardenia is pretty good. The other two that I got, as I said, was neroli and vetiver. Neroli I got specifically for my search for summer cologne and kind of like lemon flower type of, not lemonade-y, not too eau de cologne like, but something with neroli that I could enjoy, because it's another difficult note for me to really enjoy wearing on myself. So ever since I did the review of Viktor & Rolf, their premium line, which is, I think is called Magic fragrances, And they had a sparkling secret there that I really enjoyed. By the way, I returned it nevertheless, and I decided actually to look in the niche department kind of fragrances. So I thought that maybe Neroli by Elisabeth will be just what I'm looking for. Luckily enough, I'm not wearing any perfume today, so we're gonna start with application on the skin. So here, Neroli is much less pungent and annoying as I find it in many Neroli-centric fragrances. For the comparison, I used to have Perfumes de Nicolai by Patricia Nicolai, their Neroli Intense fragrance. Thank you so much for one of I presume one of my subscribers who bought it from me and gave me a little bit of funds to actually purchase some of these. So that Neroli is way more in your face. You know, Neroli can be very sharp and very piercing note, and I was trying to stay away from that because that's exactly the kind of Neroli that I can't quite wear. So this Neroli is much softer. It's way more, again, powdery, kind of like this souffle, soft, spicy, sweet dessert. And for that, it makes it way more wearable for me, but thank God it's not too sweet that, you know, like there's no overdose of ethyl maltol in there. So it doesn't really go to syrupy or sugary side either. It really walks this tight, kind of like tight balance, maintains this tight balance between being recognizably lemon flower Neroli, being somewhat delicately gourmand, and almost a little bit powdery. Another thing about Neroli that makes it a hard note for me to enjoy is that it very often turns soapy, at least maybe on my skin or for my personal taste receptors. So this one does turn a little bit soapy, and that's a bit upsetting to me. So what I'm gonna do here, if you buy a mini, I think those are about 10 bucks roughly, plus or minus a few bucks, and you get, how much do we have here? Good question. I want to say 5 ml. So 5 ml, I'm just gonna pour it into a spray bottle. I'm gonna enjoy it for a month, and at that point in September, the summer will be officially over, and we'll see if I really still have a need of a Neroli-centric scent. But I do think that I'll have a very happy memories with this one in August. All right, continuing with vetiver. I have a fair amount of vetiver fragrances. By the way, if any of you are interested in my take on vetiver perfumes and my collection and ranking of such, I can do a video. Just ask, you know? So I was just curious, what would be the approach to vetiver that Elisabeth does and Francis Kurkdjian with them? I must confess, in contrast to my usual tastes, when it comes to vetiver-centric perfumes, I do prefer to be sweeter and spicier, though it doesn't really quite vibe with what I said before about things I like and don't like. You know, sometimes we have contradictory desires when it comes to certain notes, and vetiver is definitely one of those notes that I'm ought to like in its raw, almost oily or bitter or powdery kind of like, or herbal sense, but I don't. I do prefer vetiver to be spicy and more gourmand. So I was really excited to get it from Elisabeth because I expected it to be very like again, parfait, like a souffle of vetiver prepared by the master of gourmands. But this one is not that sweet. This vetiver is, I would say, it's not very herbaceous or green. It's more kind of like smoky and leathery. That I didn't expect. So Elisabeth vetiver is not as predictable as you might think, knowing the brand and kind of knowing what Elisabeth is known for. So if you're afraid of trying Elisabeth vetiver in kind of like being concerned it would be too girlish or too sweet, this is definitely not the case. This is a rich, deep, a little bit smoky, a little bit leathery type of vetiver. It's not the most austere or aggressive of vetivers that I know of, but it's definitely not, I wouldn't say that this is even feminine fragrance. This is very much unisex in the way that it goes. Let me know if you would like to see this coffee. It's fresh coffee, you know, like it's almost irresistible to look at that mug and not take a sip. So yeah, you let me know if you want to talk about vetivers in more detail. So I got a huge order from Sunbird because I decided to kind of like shop my queue a little bit. Last time I showed you, I think like 5 decants that I got from Sunbird of Amouage and some other stuff. This time I got myself 3. You know what? I see a fragrance. We have to talk about it before that because this is also neroli. So this is the one that I got from fragrance.net, fragrancenet.com. And this is almost the only place where you can find exclusive, these like hyperluxe releases by Chopard. I absolutely love how they blend their premium lines. They are so elegant, so easy to wear, and the bottles, the bottles are magnificent, like the dark rich ruby color, or like a dark navy blue or emerald green with this very clean architectural kind of like precious gemstone cuts of the glass. Love it, but they're just crazy expensive. I'm not gonna lie, if I got a gift with one of those Chopard exclusives, that would be very memorable, but not yet. I'm not gonna buy it for myself yet. So I keep kind of trying to sample them through these small vials that they also sell here and there. You get 4 mils, which I think is fairly decent amount of perfume to actually have some substantial experience with it. So the one that I got this time is their neroli. So this is Chopard neroli a la Cardamome du Guatemala. I think Tommy Liz did a review of neroli scents not so long ago, and she featured that as one of the most wearable neroli scents on the market, and I must agree, this is much less soapy and almost much less kind of this powdery, zesty neroli that I'm so used to in other brands. This neroli is much more magnolia-like. It's very clean, woody, and almost sterile in a way. A very different take on neroli, and the one that I actually quite enjoy. So basically, I think I'm pretty set for now. So I get this more soapy, soft, semi-gourmand neroli from Elisabeth, and I get 4 milliliters of very clean, elegant, kind of like this almost watercolor sketch of neroli by Chopard. Okay, now to the Sunbird. I got myself 3. One of them fairly heavily used already because I was really trying to make my mind of it. Ever since we talked about the best amber perfumes, I'm waiting for fall to actually really pull my thoughts together and do like a amber special for you guys. So that's coming. I promise that will be coming. I'm just waiting for the weather to cool down a little bit. But the amber that I knew I couldn't really pass and I needed to include it in the future review was Histoire de Perfumes Amber 114, or like 11.4 if you wish. So this amber is a little bit more herbaceous. So what I really love about Histoire de Perfumes line is that they kind of have their typical kind of base DNA. Most of their perfumes have something fougere / shipper, but even more so kind of like soft, spicy green kind of like presence. Almost all of their perfumes have that in common, and I adore it. It's love. It's just, I can't find the words for it. I absolutely love the way that the Histoire de Perfumes compose the sort of the basis of their perfumes. So this amber promised to be kind of like the typical sweetness, right? Like a vanilla amber accord that is wrapped with soft spices and some herbs, like certain herbaceous green notes, which not very common I find for amber fragrances. Most of them are sweet upon sweet with sweeter, woodier, smokier something. So green amber fragrances are not that common. I already probably wore it down by 3 ml at this point. I was just like, not gonna lie, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. The other one that I got is Arquiste Litrog. Arquiste is another not that well-known niche brand that like just fits. It just fits into everything I love about niche perfumes. I love it for the same reason I love Atelier Bleuem, Histoire de Parfums, and many others. Sophisticated, elegant, not skanky, not too loud, but also not too quiet either. So they do present this almost like golden ratio of notes that are very cerebrally composed. I must say, maybe it sounds snobbish, but I like intelligent perfumes. There's something about Arquiste perfumes that's just like, I'm willing to give them PhD in blending. So, Litrog is, let's see if I have, oh yeah, I do have a note cards, which I absolutely love. I love that Sunbird does these note cards. First of all, it's very video friendly. Second of all, it's perfect blotter. And it does do a very visually stimulating, elegant. Let's take a shot every time I say elegant. Put together, polished way of presenting a perfume. So here I have the pyramid. So this is citron, date fruit. So imagine we're kind of combining this kind of like zesty, yummy lemonade with date fruit, with myrtle and vetiver. To be honest, I mostly feel very sweet, sugary lemons. I don't know if that happened in your household back in the day when we had absolutely no money to buy even chocolate. What people did often, first of all, like everybody was growing their own food anytime they could back in the day. And when it came to sweets, you would get berries, you would like make jam with them, and you would also, in the winter time when there's like nothing grows in Russia at that point, we would buy lemons, like really cheap lemons. It doesn't matter how good or bad they are, and you just soak them. You basically cover them with sugar and you let it kind of sit for a while, and then you get these like sugarized lemons that you kind of like just eat with tea as a dessert. That's what it makes me think of, like completely soaked in granular sugar lemons. It's very, I would say it's a little bit boisterous, and that's something I don't really expect from Arquiste. But it doesn't go too far in terms of being sweet to become childish or juvenile. I think the vetiver kind of keeps it together, gives it a little bit of a sharper edge. I like it. I'm not sure if I'd really go for the full bottle because it's such a specific emotion, you know, this citron with dates. But I also must say it's unusual to me to like it. I usually am not into lemonade kind of sense, but I do like it. So I think 8 mils, that's what you get with Sunbird. This is more than enough for me to, you know, like to enjoy it to the full and probably move on at some point. Another one that I got was a long time want, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. There was always be some kind of like other more rare niche perfume that I would buy instead. So like a lot of really good quality designer and luxe perfumes that are always on the back burner for me. Let me know if you have the same problem. It's almost like I get fooled by the scarcity trick, right? Like this myth of scarcity for niche perfumes, and I would rather buy them if I see them on a good deal rather than buy a designer perfume on a good deal that is always available. It's almost like yeah, like there's some trickery there that I need to figure out, because that's not right. So I finally pulled the trigger and I bought myself the decant from Sunbird of Valentino Donna Rose Verde. Verde? Hopefully I'm saying it right. So this is a fresh kind of morning rose, because it combines itself, it's a Turkish rose combined with bergamot and ginger. I must say, I love it. I don't know what's happening this year. Rose is making a full comeback in my life. Rose has always been popular, right? Like, I don't have to tell you. Each of us can easily name 30 perfumes that are rose-centric, and they have like myriads of facets. But I probably took a good 4-year break from rose-centric perfumes. And now I can't have enough. So good. Beautifully blended, very well, masterfully blended freshness and spiciness of ginger, the bergamot and the rose there, and it doesn't go sour and it doesn't go too musky. It's just fresh, romantic, more green than musky. You know, like there is a difference between when the scent is somewhat zesty or refreshing when it's green, like basilic does it, mint, other kind of like lighter, higher frequency green notes do it much better for me personally than zesty or white musks. That is not quite my direction. So here I'm so relieved to say there's no any kind of annoying sour muskiness in it. It's fresh through the green, gingery and bergamot notes, but yet the heart of the rose is so romantic, so flirty in there. Beautiful scent. Also actually unisex, because it's not too rosy and it's not too sweet or sugary. Talking of other ambers without which my future review would not be possible. Such a weird phrase. My future review would not be possible. Okay. I finally pulled the trigger and got myself the travel size, but still, for me, it's an achievement, because this is the kind of hyperluxe brand that I can't quite see myself buying ever, to be honest, unless I come to some unexpected windfall of, multi-million-dollar inheritance. So this is Grand Soir by the master Francis Kurkdjian. Many of you know this perfume better than I do. It is rumored to be one of the best ambers for the premium price, and overall kind of one of the best amber fragrances on the market overall. I'm gonna save my impressions for later, because I do agree and I do disagree with this title. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's horrible. It's definitely something I will wear till the last drop. But is it the best amber in the market? We'll see. Not convinced yet, not convinced, but it's certainly a contender. All right, I was craving this one for a long time and I couldn't find it on a good deal.